they talked to me halfway through training after boot camp. So I went to boot camp for 9 weeks or however long it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to my first training and they picked me up there. I never even got assigned to a naval installation.
So quick. Now, you got into this when you were 19?
That's right. Yeah.
I never even heard of that. How do you get into well, I guess it was NSA first for you, right?
Right. Well, I had joined the Navy originally. And when I was in training, I got pulled by the NSA to serve in a civilian NSA billet instead of a military billet. And so I was sent over under their authority for my 4 years instead of the Navy. So I think I'm the worst sailor in the history of the Navy. I've never even taken a tour of a ship. So I was just with them the entire time.
Where'd you grow up?
Alton, Illinois.
And that's like pretty close to St. Louis?
Right across the river.
So it's not near Chicago or anything like that?
5 hours south.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, were you watching like James Bond movies? Did you dream of being a spy? Just because like getting into it, accepting that type of responsibility so young tells me that you had to be real excited about it. From
the beginning. I knew as far back as I can remember, that's what I wanted to do. And it wasn't so much from the movie side. I was a super nerd. I hung out at the library all the time. I'd ride my bike there and just spend all day there in the summer. And I think I read every single book I could find on the topic. So that's how I fell in love with it.
Like as a young kid. We're talking like 10, 11 even.
Even younger, yeah.
God, there has to be something there that like snaps where you're just like, I want to do this espionage.
I've heard that in some of my colleagues too, that same approach to it.
Yeah. So what was your favorite book you read? Like what was the most influential one?
The first one was Bob Baer's book, See No Evil, that I can recall. It was really like, man, I want to get out there and do, what Beirut Bob was doing.
Yeah, who was Beirut Bob?
Yeah, so he was an agency case officer that had worked almost exclusively over there for a long time as a street guy and had more of the aggressive side of all of that. And so I just thought it was super, super cool. And
was he a knock officially, or was he another one that had diplomatic cover?
Bob was a diplomatic cover officer, yeah.
Got it. And there was like, you were telling me this off camera, there was like some sort of controversy with him, like he got allegedly kicked out of CIA or something like that?
I don't think he was kicked out. I know that at the end, there were rumors that he had upset some people in leadership, and I don't know the full situation for him, but he had a really big personality. And
can't do that. They don't like that around there.
Yeah, he was actually that movie Syriana. I don't know if you saw that with George Clooney.
Oh, wait, that's where I know it from.
Yeah, he cameos in that.
No. Yeah. Now it's coming back.
When the main character's in the hospital after he got his fingernails pulled off, the interviewing officer is Bob, yeah.
Love that. You take some fingernails in your days?
No, I've never taken.
You sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
You don't like have a little collection at home?
No.
This is little Jose's fingernails? I told you, Shawnee Delaney put us together. I told you, I'm a ball breaker. This is nice and easy today. Don't worry about it.
No, it's only it's usually pinkies that I was going for, but
good. Well, I can see that because you took a ring. So, anyway, so they pull you at 19. You did you even want to be in the military, or was that already you were just trying to means to an end it? With like getting into espionage.
Yeah, so it was a means to an end,
right?
And I was in college at the time. And naively, I thought that the war in Afghanistan was going to end any day, and I'd miss my shot to have any military experience. I didn't know we had another 65 years left on that.
What year are we talking?
This is 2006.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're like 5 years in, and you thought it was like ending?
I was like, it's 5 already, like.
What movie were you watching?
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, I'll just go do my military time. Then I'll switch over after that. I don't want to be the only person that doesn't have some experience, at that point. And so.
And what was the official time length between joining and them pulling you into the back room?
So they talked to me halfway through training after boot camp. So I went to boot camp for 9 weeks or however long it was. And then I went to my first training and they picked me up there. I never even got assigned to a naval installation.
So quick. Now, going into NSA, because I've never seen a track like this before. I haven't talked with people who went like NSA to CIA. I've talked with people who have, after their career, wherever they were, contracted, where they, contracted for NSA or contracted for CIA. But you come into NSA and you do 3 or 4 years there?
4. So my full Navy enlistment was done there, yeah.
Okay. Now, what types of things are you doing at that time?
It was split between 2 different things. The first, when I went to Afghanistan, was doing more of the traditional counterterrorism targeting kind of stuff, tracking cell phones for high-value targets and things like that. And then because of a fluke that happened in Afghanistan, I kind of got sidelined into this special counterintelligence program to go support people that were more like what I ended up doing later, case officers and stuff like that, from that signals intelligence side. And so that's how they got to look at me.
Now, when you say support them, does that, I don't know, I'm trying to fill in blanks here. Does that include like actually getting out into the field with those people a little bit, or you're kind of supporting them from the office?
Both, but not as much the field. Okay. If I was out there, it was to help feed them questions or to pass along information from NSA to help support what they were doing. So it was completely a support role for their main mission.
And I'm trying to put the years together here, but you said you got in like 06, so tracking it, you're kind of talking about maybe like 08, 09 right now when you started doing that?
Exactly. I went to Afghanistan in 2008, and as soon as I got back, which I think was around the beginning of the year 2009, I switched over to what we were just talking about.
Okay. I bring that up because I've now had a bunch of Tier 1 guys in here, whether it be Navy SEALs, Delta Force, Army Rangers. I had the Reaper Nick Irving in here. These were guys who were Dan Corbett from Navy SEAL Team 6. These are guys who were in that theater, Afghanistan, in like the 07 to 09, 2010 years. And holy shit, is this one of the most underreported things I've ever heard about. It was, I mean, obviously it's a war zone, but it was a hellhole of constant firefighting. Ephraim Matos as well. Like, he had crazy stories, I think, from that era, right, Alessi? It's like, what the was going on? Like, why did it blow up that much during that specific period?
It was rowdy over there at that time. I don't know why it spiked as much. One of the things was there was a super big operation, a counterintelligence operation that I supported to identify spies that were on the bases. There was a huge infiltration that had happened where a lot of the interpreters were passing information to the opposition. And so I think that played a lot in it as well. And then there was the hotel bombing in Pakistan at the Marriott over there.
Yep.
And so that was right when I was there.
What do you think made, like, obviously we know how this turned out in 2021 with the end of a 20-year odyssey that just was unceremonious to say the least. But what do you think made it such that by maybe even the mid-2000s, suddenly the Taliban was, I don't know, getting some more, obviously they were using an iron fist in certain places, but they were also getting more support slowly on the ground. Why was that?
Yeah, if you look at the transition from, let's say, like Jawbreaker, when legends from my place like Gary Schroen went in there, and pretty quickly they had a good handle on the place. I think one of the things that contributed to it is we started fighting the war in a different way than that. But also a lot of foreign intelligence services started supporting our adversaries, at the time. Iran was heavily supporting things in Afghanistan against us. And so that was ramping up as we were changing tactics to something that really just wasn't working.
I have to tell you about this game-changing product I use before a night out with drinks. It's called Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol. Pre-Alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in your gut. It's this byproduct, not your dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-Alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. This is actually also the perfect day to talk about Z-Biotics because tomorrow, I'm recording this on a Thursday, tomorrow I'm going down to Philadelphia to enjoy the parade of your 2024 Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champions, and y'all know I'm going to be drinking throughout the day. So I'm going to make Z-Biotics my first drink, and I'm going to have an amazing day on Saturday after all the debauchery is over. So whether it's vacations, weddings, birthdays, reunions, or just a good night out, get the most out of your upcoming plans by stocking up on your pre-alcohol now. You can do that by going to zbiotics.com/Julian to get 15% off your order using code Julian, Julian, at checkout. Pre-alcohol is backed with 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied with your product, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So remember to head on over to zbiotics.com/Julian and use code Julian at checkout to get 15% off your first order. Thank you to Z-Biotics for sponsoring this episode and our good times. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.